What is up, everybody? It is Sunday, May 11th, I think. It is 10 p.m., and everybody knows what 10 p.m. Atlantic time means. Of course, that means another fantastic, unscripted, offensive, soon-to-be politically incorrect episode of Snag Craig tonight. I am Snag, and this is Craig, who is eating lobster. Craig informed me a few minutes ago that he has a newfound love of lobster, and apparently that love is so strong that he has to eat in the middle of the show. You can't even
smell it from there.
No, I can't smell it. I'm 5,300 kilometers away.
It's fucking rank.
And I didn't have lobster for supper. I had beef stroganoff, so I can't smell your lobster. I apologize.
You were choking off some beef. God
no,
damn, you're offensive.
That is not what I said. Not what I said.
Hey, what long did you hear?
Anyways, folks, we have all kinds of wonderful things to talk about, none of which we have any idea what that's going to be. We're just going to kind of just let it go.
Roll with the punches.
That's right. As always, if you're following along, and as I can tell by the viewer count at the bottom of the screen, you absolutely are not. If you're following along, feel free to ask a question, and we will do our best to A, answer it, or B, ridicule your ass. So, Craig, how's your week been? You had a good week?
Yeah, it was fucking just the very best. Went down to Grand Falls there for Mother's Day weekend. I had a big scoop of lobster, which I'm still eating.
Yeah, I see that.
Bought my golf club, made some divots on my father-in-law's lawn. She's going to be just fucking jazzed about.
Okay. Greg's having a good time. I, on the other hand, have been working all week and playing the show every free minute that I have.
That's a good starting point. Give me your synopsis. I read your review and it was underwhelming.
Underwhelming? The review was underwhelming, or the game itself was underwhelming?
No, the review.
Well, you know, I'd only played it for literally like an hour and a half, so it's kind of
you should have said like review.
Kind of difficult. Kind of difficult to give.
Like 2 minutes.
It's I was very clear that I played 2 games and 2 games only. It's very difficult to give a complete review. I've played probably 10 games now.
Okay, well, redo your review then.
Well, I'm surprised at how it seems like the way video games go these days, especially sports games, is all the new features that they trumpet out there, they just don't work as advertised. Example, the quick counts feature which they advertised, which randomly generates a count for every hitter. They said it was going to cut your game times in half and then this and that. And it's really just not true. I mean, it still takes 40 to 45 minutes for me to play a game. I've had some half-hour games, but those are games that were like 2-1. You know, games that have moved along quickly and just like in real baseball where, you know, you have low-scoring games. The thing that really pisses me off about it is that when you enable the quick counts option, it enables it for both batting and pitching. I wish you had the option for, like, just one of them.
Okay.
I wish as a pitcher I could throw every pitch, but as a hitter, the one thing I do like about it, and I know it's an issue that you always had with the game, was that this way I find the computer has accurate pitch counts. Like the computer team will have to go to their bullpen in the 6th, 7th inning from time to time. Because and that's something that's been really, really nice is that you know, you don't get those complete games against you when they give up 6 runs because they've only thrown 45 pitches.
What about from your small sample size? What about statistically? Are you taking more walks? Are they hits? You know, like what are you seeing for are you seeing for that stuff?
Okay, so first of all, am I taking more walks? The answer is yes. Am I taking an accurate amount of walks? No. I'm taking. I take maybe 1 a game, 1 every couple of games. The thing that really drives me nuts about the quick counts is, as a hitter, is too often the count will be 3-1, 3-2.
So you got the green light. So you're thinking, I'm swinging.
And the computer will pump a fastball right down the middle. Like, I think in 7 games, I probably have 11 or 12 home runs. because
Jesus
of
Christ.
3-2 fastballs down the middle that you just pound out.
Yeah, but then again, you are getting a 3-1 account, and most pitchers in that are going to throw a fastball, not necessarily right down the pipe, not right down the hits, but
yeah, no, and that's the thing, and that's something that you can tweak with the sliders, computer control. Oh, we have a question, Craig, about our earlier segment about lobster. Andrew Savoy would like to know, did you save the lobster shells to donate them to Lobster Creations?
no, absolutely not. I want nothing to do with that fucking guy that has the lobster cage. What's his name? Captain John? I don't know. Captain John Dingleberry. I see him around. I think he collects bottles now.
I think he might be one of the 4 people that watch the show, so we probably shouldn't offend our.
He's moved from lobster creation to bottle creation.
I like it. Hey,
whatever sells.
I love a good bottle creation. Anyway, it's good. On the PS4, the show stadiums and stuff are absolutely fantastic, and the cityscapes, and they've actually gone now and gotten like accurate logos for the stadium sponsors.
Well, that's the one thing.
So like in Rogers Center, there's a big Rogers sign out in right center, and it's the actual Rogers sign. Like, again, they get corporate visibility, but it's just kind of a cool feature.
Because I'm thinking, playing the show, the added features of graphical improvement and quick count sold me. Like, I mean, to the point where I almost bought a PlayStation. Because to me, MLB The Show 13 was an awesome game. Graphically, though, it was a little underwhelming in terms of the stadiums. I found the stadiums were the biggest letdown.
Well, and the thing is that and in the developer blogs and leading up to the PS4 show release, they had talked about how they had tapped out the PS3 hardware, that they didn't have any more polygons to use for stadiums. Like, example, and this is just an example of the new hardware. On the PS3 versions of the show, the total amount of unique crowd characters they could have was, I think it was 42.
Yeah.
So for every 43 people you saw a repeat in the crowd. Yeah. On PS4 they can do 1,000.
Oh wow.
So you're never going to see a presentation cutaway and see the same 3 guys.
Yeah, and they looked like they looked very good. Yeah. And see, one thing I want to ask, does the crowd quality diminish as you go into the upper bowls? Like, sometimes you'll see like the first row or the first bowl look very good, and then as you go up, they start diminishing quality.
No,
or is it seemingly
it's full sprited characters all the way to the upper regions. In what I've seen so far, I've only seen Tampa Bay, Tropicana Field, and Rogers Center. So I mean, small sample size, but I would assume that all the stadiums are built relatively the same.
I suppose in Tropicana you have the 1,000 people there, and that's basically the only people that are.
And the field itself is quite ugly.
Yeah, it's atrocious. Will they ever get another stadium?
Who cares?
I do.
Who cares? Move them to Montreal.
There you go.
Someone buy the Rays, move them to Montreal, bring the Expos back, so that 6 years from now they can fold. And
Jeffrey Loria can buy them.
Oh yeah, I just finished reading that book actually.
Did you?
Jonah Carey's History of the Expos book.
I bet they painted Jeffrey Loria in some good light.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
He's a pretty sketchy fucker.
It was kind of a complete history of the Expos, from the early beginnings to the bitter. Oh dear. Is that some sort of alarm?
Yeah, that's the show's going to shit alarm.
Oh no. That should go off. It should go off like 3 seconds into every show.
We're stale tonight, man. We got nothing good to say.
Hey, listen, we got lots good to think about. We're just kind of easing into it here. We're literally only 10 minutes into the show. We can't.
It helps when you're at home though, because you're drinking when you're at home.
Yeah, I know. But we can't use up all the good material in the first 10 minutes because then nobody'd ever watch the last 20 minutes.
That seems to be when our viewership spikes.
Yeah, I don't think our viewership has ever seen any kind of spike.
Is that the wrong word?
I think it's so bad now that like our even our loyal viewers have given up. It's not a holiday or anything, is it today? Oh, it's Mother's Day. Right. Right. I'd like to wish a happy Mother's Day to my mom, who is probably not watching. Would you like to do the same, Craig?
No. I already said my things this today. I don't have to repeat them.
Good. Good.
You get
That's
one Happy
good.
Mother Day a day.
One happy Mother Day a day or one happy Mother Day a year? That's that's a that's a very good blank stare. So no other exciting things are transpiring. All's on the
You're
quiet.
moving in a couple of weeks. That's pretty freaking
I
exciting.
am.
We probably talked about that we went to my mom's for dinner. We talked about that probably 4 times.
You're talking about me at your mom's dinner and I wasn't even there.
hmm
You
You'd be
say anything
happy to
bad
know.
about me?
You'd be happy to know that at least half of them were positive.
Oh, that's great. I'm dying now. I'm dying. You're forcing me to die.
I'm starting to. I've been trying. I've been putting leaflets around that you actually moving back to buy the black horse. And the
God, that's
first thing you're gonna do is bring back Sambos.
hey, hey,
Hey,
that could happen.
that
When I
I,
become mayor,
well,
listen, when I become mayor 2 years from now, I'm gonna have an executive order that Sambos is to be carried at all establishments where liquor is served within the city limits. That's gonna be my first order of business when I
and as
become
soon
mayor.
as Mike's doesn't do that, you fucking shut them down.
That's right.
Evict.
Liquor license revoked. I don't think I have that. The mayor has that kind of pull, but
Well, but then the thing is if you're a mayor, you just make the paperwork that says that you can do that, right?
yes,
As far as I understand,
yes.
a mayor has pretty much a blank slate to whatever they want to do. I mean, I don't much understand about municipal governments, but that's how it works, right? A mayor can fucking do whatever they want. If you're a
They do.
mayor, I mean,
I think
if
I
you were
think
the
there's
mayor,
checks and balances in place, but
well, I don't know about that.
there's first of
Look at
all,
me. Okay,
first
okay,
of
okay.
all, there's a council that has voting rights. And well, listen, while
Let,
we're talking about Miramichi and we're talking about structured things, we're going to let's talk about some historical things. Now, for everyone out there who knows, and most people should, you know, Miramichi was devastated by a gigantic fire in 1825. Craig, do you think almost 200 years later, has the city ever recovered from that fire? No. You think that people still live with the burden of.
hey, I tell you what though, burnt ground's great for growing blueberries.
Is this gay? Is okay? You know what? Okay, I'm just gonna leave the camera on you for a second. Is burnt ground good for growing
It has to.
blueberries?
It has to be.
Sunshine blueberries, pruning blueberry. You know what? I'm not gonna be able to find this in an easy method, but I'm gonna listen.
Let
I'm definitely gonna follow up on that one.
let me. I'm going to provide my first uh, my first morsel of evidence.
Oh, okay.
As you may or may not know, I started a forest fire behind my house, and
Hey,
it
this is
burnt
great.
down. It burnt
Miramichi.
down a bunch of shit, and and then years later, I'd go back there and I'd pick blueberries, and there'd be fucking tons of them, and it was
Okay,
all burnt forest. The only thing
okay,
there was fucking blueberries.
okay. So to go along with that story, well, we should pass along that no one was hurt in Craig's fire.
There were.
Uh, there were no reported injuries. There may have been injuries, but
Well, they no
they weren't.
reported because they were dead in a fire.
Hey, they weren't reported. What? Oh, in response to my mayoral proclamation of Sambos, it's also being said that if I bring back Sambos, I would have to bring back the under-the-counter pizza slice.
Yeah, boys, let me get that for you.
that's not something we're gonna.
Oh man, guess what? I think my body is finally unable to digest Greco.
Oh, that's not a thing.
Oh, seriously. Like I used to be able to eat Greco. You guys always talk about the shits it give you. I'd eat as much Greco as I want, and I would just be very best. The other night though, had a big scoff of her, and then I woke up at 3 o'clock, and holy shit, it was just wild.
Oh my god. This is
So
okay, so let's see. So two things that Craig has brought forward here in the last few minutes. We're going to cover them here. First of all, he has brought back proof that blueberries grow better in burnt ground. And now he's claiming that he is unable to digest Greco after years of consumption. Thankfully, Greco is not a sponsor of this show. Because if they were, they'd probably be pulling their sponsorship at this point, as opposed to the many other things they pull on a regular basis. You know what? Honestly, I am at this point. I am scared to try Greco. For 32 years, I'm 32, but since I've been able to select my own food, I've abused the hell out of the inside of this body, and now it fights back. I'm scared if I insert a morsel of Greco into my esophagus and down to my stomach. I'm scared of what the repercussions might be. And I'm having like a cold war with my guts.
The Cold War, yeah.
It's just like I see Greco pizza and I'm just like, man.
It's like a box.
It's like a box of KD.
I got a great Greco pizza story unrelated to the shits. It's a Greg Smith Greco pizza story. Do you know the Greg Smith Greco pizza story?
I don't know. Is it something he'd want you to tell on live national TV?
Yeah, I'm going to tell it anyways. Well, there's this person that lived next to me for long years. I'm not going to say his name, but he was the only guy in that household who wasn't a lawyer.
You already said his name 3 times. Anyway.
Okay, so we were at the Black Horse, and we were hammered as shit, and I was talking to peoples, and Greg disappears. And Greg has a history of disappearing. I mean, if he ever gets too drunk, he just disappears. You usually find him thrown up in a pharaoh.
Right.
And so Greg disappears, and I'm like, okay, very best. Greg went back home.
Yeah.
An hour later, Greg stumbles into the Black Horse, party pizza in hand, slobbering drunk, with a chocolate milk. And I say, Greg, did you pay for that? He couldn't provide me with an answer.
Okay, well, so basically you're saying he's a criminal.
So Greg Smith has stole a Greco. Well, that's what we think he.
Unconfirmed reports.
Yeah,
okay,
but
so
the Greco police caught up with him and they made him do things that.
They filled his colon with pepperoni pizza. So now, just in the last couple.
Revenge on that's the ultimate revenge too. I mean, you can eat Greco pizza, but it's the ultimate revenge. It's already built into the fucking dough.
That's a good point. I've had, by the way, in the last few minutes, I've had 2 separate people confirm that blueberries do grow better in burnt ground.
No way. So it is true. 2 people, that's enough.
How much Greco pizza did you eat, Craig? A viewer question would like to know.
I ate 6 slices and at least 4 pieces of garlic fingers.
Okay, hang on now. I have to clarify. Were they 6 square or triangular pieces?
Nope, triangular. At one point, I made a fucking pizza sandwich. You know where you put one on top of the other?
Okay. Now, to go along with the Greco thing, a viewer has stated that Greco has actually improved in the last 10 to 15 years since we've been in high school. Agree or disagree?
Jesus Christ. I don't know. What was it? What did it used to be? What used to happen to you?
It used to be completely awful. And now, honestly, the thing is, living in Fredericton where you have so many different pizza choices.
Yeah, you don't have to eat Greco, but here you have to.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is, I mean, you get into places and it's just like if you have selection, you don't know what you got till it's gone. When you eat this one particular place where you have options, and then when those options are gone and you only have one choice, you have to eat that one choice. I mean, it's just the way it is. Or you don't eat that particular food item.
Yeah, that's surprising. If you put "is Greco pizza poison" in Google, it doesn't show up with anything.
Oh, it's Greco controls Google.
Maybe if I ask Jeeves, do you think Jeeves would know?
I don't know. Jeeves is pretty dumb.
Greco pizza.
He is dumb. Oh, speaking of which, speaking of dumb, just give me a second here. Let me scroll back over here. Sorry, folks, just give me 1 second. I'm almost ready. All right. Well, folks, it's time for a new segment on the show. And this is a segment that Craig and I started last week. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Hun joke of the day. As you know, folks, over at and if you're under the age of 18, I don't recommend you go to the Hun.net. It's a criminal offense. But if you're over the age of 18, make sure you check it out. So now I'm going to give you today's Hun joke of the day. It's called Patty, and it's Patty with D's instead of T's, so it's probably a Newfie joke. The phone rang at the motor pool, and an authoritative voice demanded to know how many vehicles were operational. Jim answered, "We've got 12 trucks, 10 utilities, 3 staff cars, and that Bentley that the fat Earth's colonel swanks around in." There was a stony silence for a second or two. "Do you know who you're speaking to?" "No," said Patty. "It is the so-called fat Earth's colonel you insubordinately referred to." "Well, do you know who you're talking to?" "No," roared the colonel. "Well, thank goodness for that," said Patty as he hung up the phone. That's the joke.
Did it bring it? Oh, but then you have to pick out your favorite.
No. I clicked read the rest.
Oh, did you click read this?
Oh, that's the joke.
I'm gonna pick out my favorite thumbnail preview.
Hey, you're not going to the fifth. It's not fifth link down time, is it?
Is it fifth one down? All right. Oh, this one's a blonde doing 2 guys in this movie from Vincent. I can't believe they still put those names in there. Like, this one is a couple doing it in this movie from Tibor. Like, where do they get these names from?
Listen, hey, you know how the saying goes. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I'm pretty sure you looked that up, and there's a picture of the Hun.
Possibly. I can't confirm or deny that at this time.
I wonder if it's still the same guys that run that site. I mean, it doesn't look like ownership has changed hands.
It's hard to say. I think we could probably divert some Snaggle TV resources to doing a 17-part expose on the history of the Hun.net.
That is a documentary waiting to happen.
There should be a documentary, the history of the Hun's Yellow Pages.
Would just be.
We might be the only 2 people that still go to that website.
Oh, I think so. I'm surprised I haven't received any sort of thank you or congratulations.
Yeah, I'd like some swag. I'd like some swag, like a hat or,
Did you make that while you were at
No.
the hat store?
No, I did not. I never made a Hun hat.
No.
Looking back on it, that's probably one of my regrets.
Yeah,
I never made a Hun hat.
Oh man. Sad.
Hey, what's a little HD thing? What? What's happening?
I wanted to see if the Reddit had a subreddit for the Hun.com, but it doesn't.
Oh no. Anything else, bud? Or have we exhausted our creative juices for a Sunday?
What do you think of the NFL draft? What do you think of Sammy Watkins?
Hard to say.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they gave up a lot to get a wide receiver in what was a wide receiver deep draft. But I mean, I like the pick. Don't get me wrong. I like the fact that they turned around and immediately traded Stevie Johnson the next day.
Did they?
Yeah, they did, yeah, to the 49ers for a conditional fourth rounder.
Okay, I don't. Do you notice that in the NFL drafts you rarely get value for players? Like Stevie Johnson is better than any fourth rounder selected this year. Like he'll probably outperform any fourth rounder
It's
next year.
it's
You know what I mean? Like I don't understand how they
this
value
is
him at a
but
fourth
this is
round draft pick.
what happens. This is well, they don't. What they value is getting rid of the salary in a salary cap league. In a salary cap
Okay.
league where when you look at you have guys like EJ Manuel and young guys who are going to get raises. You got your two starting running backs, Jackson and Spiller, who are both free agents at the end of the year.
And then you go and add Bryce Brown.
He's a low cost. He's under contract for 2 years. He doesn't cost a lot of money. He's proven he can run the ball. Again, trades in the NFL only make sense if you look at them from not from a talent standpoint,
Yeah.
but from a
Okay.
from a salary standpoint.
Okay.
Because you got to think you got $120+ million cap, and you got to fit 63 guys under that cap on a weekly basis. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy when you got guys making $15 million to be an offensive lineman. It's difficult. You got to cut corners.
Yeah.
You know what? I think it was to the point where the Stevie Johnson had good seasons, but he hadn't really matured into that 100 catch, 1,500 yard, 10 touchdown guy that they needed him to be. So they're going to go in another direction. Whether that's going to be right or whether that's going to be wrong, it's too early to tell. Give him 2 years. But
Yeah, I mean, I think they reached for Sammy Watkins. I mean, that's what I'm reading at least. I don't know enough about his collegiate career to say whether or not he's a legit star. I mean, really, for that price, you almost have to be a Julio Jones, right? Seemingly, that was sort of the price. Julio Jones is sort of the ballpark for how good a receiver should be if you're going to give that many draft picks.
If you believe some of the stuff that you read on ESPN, they're saying that Watkins is the best wide receiver prospect since A.J. Green. And you look what A.J. Green does on a week-in, week-out basis. Here's the thing that makes this deal. If the Bills finish in the bottom 5 and end up with like the 4th overall pick next year, which now belongs to the 49ers, this is a bad deal. Unless Watkins is A.J. Green. Oh, what's this? Oh, we got a question. It's a Blue Jays related question. We haven't talked about the Blue Jays yet.
Oh,
God. Viva would like to know, how many runs do we predict J. Happ will give up in his next start against the Indians?
Oh, my God. Can they just put him out to pasture and fucking shoot him?
Well, they could, but then they just have a dead body that makes $5 million. I mean, my guess is next start, Cleveland Indians. Cleveland's been hitting the ball okay. I'm going to say 5 over 5 innings.
Yeah, something along those lines. At least an earned run per inning. And
I predict a line with a lot of 5s. 5 runs on 5 hits in 5 innings with 5 Ks and a couple walks.
Are we quarters?
110 pitches.
We're not quarter season yet, are we?
We're getting there. Not just yet. Oh, actually, Jays lost today, which makes them 18-20, 38.
Goes.
Couple days away from quarter pole.
So where do you put the Jays? Like, where are they underperforming? Performing where you thought they would perform? I think they're just about where everybody thought they would be performing.
I think that, to be 100% honest with you, with the way certain people within the team have performed, I'm shocked that they're 2 games under 500, because they should be 10 games under 500. With the way the bullpen is pitched, and the way the starters have pitched, and the way Encarnacion hit for the first month, the way Reyes has played since he came back, I'm surprised they didn't lose 100 games already. The fact that they won 6 in a row before they got fucking manhandled by the Angels the last 3 games is just, things are starting to work for them. But still, the pitching staff is a problem. The starters are not getting it done. Stroman came in today and was not good.
That's concerning.
Well, I mean, he's not used to pitching at the bullpen, right? They're jerking him around. It's, Jansen's back now. Laurie's going to be back tomorrow. These guys need a winning streak, and I know they just finished a winning streak, but now that they've lost 3 games in a row to the Angels, who are not the best team in baseball, but, they're a good team, but they're not the best. The Jays they got to get above 500. They got to, it's just, it's so frustrating because just when things are starting to look good and things are going well, then the wheels just come off.
Toronto has a positive 17 run differential. Easily the best for a team under 500. There's only one other team in the major leagues that have a below 500 record and a positive run differential.
Oh, well, and their offense hasn't been the problem. Listen, Encarnacion's been hitting the ball great lately. Bautista's has slowed down some, but I mean, he's still getting on base at a regular clip. Reyes is starting to do things. Melky's still having a good time. Juan Francisco's been a little cold this weekend, but he's been surprising. Lind is back.
Where did he come from, Snaggle?
Well, Juan Francisco had 18 home runs last year with the Brewers.
Okay.
They let him go for basically peanuts for next to nothing. I mean, it's just, it's been a good pickup for him. He's played well, but like I said, it's just, if you can't limit the amount of runs that another team scores against you, you have no chance. When the Jays win, they win 6-1. When they lose, they lose 6-4 and give up a lot of runs in the second half of the game.
That the earned run average on the team starts with Mark Burley at 1.91, but jumps up to 4.17 with Drew Hutchinson.
Well, and if you look at their bullpen is nowhere near as good as it's been. Delabar's looked lost at times. He came into that game yesterday and promptly walked in a run on 4 pitches. Cecil's been hit around a little bit. Santos was just atrocious as closer. Jansen's back now, so hopefully maybe the guys will settle into roles that they're used to, and things could get better. But you know what? The thing is, hey, you got to look at it this way. They've had so many ups and downs already, and there's still 75% of the season left to go. And nobody in the AL East is playing like they want to win it. So,
yeah, I mean that's the thing. And what is it? Orioles are 20-15, I think. So they're first, and we're only 5.5 games back from that. So, thank God everybody else is shitting the bed because we ain't that far off from putting a run on her.
No, as of right now, let me have a look here. Baltimore is in first, and yeah, the Jays are 3.5 back. 3.5 games back in fourth place. The Rays are actually 5.5 back right now.
Okay.
And the Jays are the only team in the AL East with a positive run differential at +11.
What do you think of Martin Keimer winning the Players?
I have no idea. Couldn't care.
That should be the only thing I talk about is golf when I come on the show. You know nothing of it.
Golf columnist. Hey, when it's a major, I might give a shit.
Oh man, that's pretty good for Martin Keimer. He had a rough go there for a while. He was starting to play like you.
Andrew Savoy's asking about Brett Lawrie playing second. Do I think Brett Lawrie is going to play second? Actually, it was reported this morning that it looks like Brett Lawrie is going to play second against right-handed pitching. That way Juan Francisco can keep in the lineup at third, and then Lawrie will shift to third against lefties. He's going to be seeing a lot of second base. So for all you fantasy guys out there that have Brett Lawrie, you can be expecting him to pick up some second base eligibility here pretty soon.
Try to trade for him.
Just tell everyone. I just outed him finally. I'm sorry.
Damn
Well, hey, we managed to suck up 35 minutes of the people's
you.
time. That's good. Any closing thoughts?
Oh, I'm fucking tired. It's a
Good one.
long week.
Well, on that note, folks, it's been another ravishingly fantastic, politically incorrect episode of Snagging Craig tonight. As always, we will be back 7 days from today to possibly try and be more offensive than today. So, Craig Martin, there he is, stretched out,
Shalom.
waving
Shalom,
by.
or goodbye in Hebrew. I don't know what that is.
You're not Jewish. That's Craig. I'm Snag. Peace.